What's up, guys? One Koala Man here, bringing you episode number 63 of our fairy tale reviews. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like button down below, because it means a lot to me that you guys hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel, because I welcome every single one of you, new and old, to the channel with wide open arms. Also, be sure to answer the question of the day and follow me on Twitter, both which will be in the description down below, so give those a bit of a look. And with all that said and done, guys, let's get this mother underway. So we start today's episode off in the Kate Shelter Guild, of all places. And what's happening in the Kate Shelter Guild is they're in like a bit of a state of emergency, because they found out that Nirvana is trying to attack them, so they don't know what the friggin' heck to do. The guild master is like a little short drunk guy, just like Master Makarov, and he keeps saying something about Nabara, like please help us all, something like that. So I guess Nabara could be like their god that they worship, and they're hoping that Nabara will come to save them. I don't know, but we finally see Kate Shelter Guild, which is also the guild that Wendy is from. But anyways, back to Nirvana. The squad is trying to figure out where the heck this freaking control panel is. And then Wendy's like talking to herself about like some plan that she's gonna create. And so her and Carla just leave to execute this plan that she's thinking of without even telling the squad what the freaking heck she's gonna do. And then when she leaves, Richard actually gets a hold of the squad. Not Wendy, but he gets a hold of the squad through like telepathic means. And he's talking to the squad saying that you have to stop Midnight in order to stop Nirvana from moving, and in order to stop Nirvana completely. And he's saying that Midnight is directly below you, so hurry up, defeat Midnight so we can get this all over with. And then turns out that Brain is actually the one talking to the squad as Richard, because you see him holding his head and talking in Richard's voice. So the squad thinks that Brain is Richard, but he's really not. And they go down like directly below them, and they open some giant door, and it's a trap, and the whole freaking bottom of the building just explodes. And Jalal and Urza are near that building, kind of, and they're saying, what the heck was that explosion? And then Midnight comes through and says, well, I guess those fools believed in Brain, so now you two are my last prey until, you know, I'm finally done with all you fairy tale scum, with all you guild scum. So now it's Jalal and Urza versus Midnight. But back at where the explosion happened, the squad is still, you know, living, breathing, kicking, whatever. And they're like, you know, buried alive somehow. But it's not them being buried alive. Jura actually stopped this blast and like put like a protective dome around the squad. And they like get out of this dome, and they just see Jura standing there, like he exalted pretty much, or exhausted all of his magic energy, and he just goes down. The squad like doesn't know what the heck to do, because Jura is arguably their strongest member of the whole coalition, so they're kind of at a loss right now. So I guess it's fine that Wendy and Carla left, because that would have been more people to protect for Jura, and then that would have ensured his death even more, but oh well. And speaking of Wendy and Carla, they finally, you know, reveal their plan, and they're trying to find Jalal, because maybe they think Jalal knows how to stop Nirvana since he technically activated it. And speaking of Jalal, we go back to the fight between him, Urza, and Midnight, and Jalal and Urza are arguing on who's gonna fight Midnight, but, you know, eventually Jalal says, look, I'll fight Midnight, you don't worry about him, this is my fight, I'll take him on. And he starts shooting his blast, and of course, nothing hits Midnight. And the shocking thing is, Midnight actually takes down Jalal real quick. Like, the whole fight between Jalal and Midnight probably ends in about like a minute and a half. So that is ridiculous. Maybe even shorter, actually. And so Midnight is nothing to mess with, okay? He took down one of the strongest members, you know, in the entire like coalition, so to speak. So this is ridiculous. So Midnight is just wrecking through everybody, and now it's Urza's time to shine. So Urza wants to go up against Midnight, but of course Urza's attacks aren't hitting him either. and we find out that Midnight uses a type of magic called reflector magic, and it's what you can expect it to be. It reflects any sort of attack, physical, magic, whatever. Any sort of attack will not hit Midnight. So Urza is kind of at a loss right here because she just doesn't know how to, counteract this reflector's magic. But back to the squad. They're mourning about, loss of Jura, which I'm sure, isn't really dead because nobody really dies in the show except for Simon and that one guy. I think his name was Joe. But anyways, they're mourning over the loss of Jura at this moment, and then they hear like some deep, sinister voice, and they're trying to figure out who the heck this is. And then we find out that this deep, sinister voice is Brain's staff.
Bruh.
Now I've seen this, arc once before. I've seen all of these arcs once. But anyways, this is the moment that killed this arc. Is Brain's staff talking. And just like me, and I'm sure just like you guys, Natsu is not having it. He's like beating this staff onto the ground. It's freaking hilarious. And the staff eventually breaks out of Natsu's grasp and says something about the 7th member of the Oración Seis. And if you know basic Spanish, seis means 6 in Spanish, and the staff is talking about the 7th member awaking from his slumber. So we have no idea who the 7th member is. We have no idea how he's going to get awakened from his slumber. So this is all, something. But this staff, though, this staff really killed it for me. But back on to more pressing matters. The Urza and Midnight fight is still going down. And like I said before, Urza is not touching Midnight. And Midnight just... Midnight is something else. He gets rid of Urza real quick. Again. Just like he did Jalal, just like he did Hada, just like he did Ren and Eve. He is just going ham on everybody. I don't know who can freaking stop him. But he just wrecks Urza. That's the end of Urza for right now. And he tries to, influence Jalal into joining the Oración Seis because he says that Jalal's heart is darker than his own heart. And yada yada yada. But then Urza, finally gets up and says, "No, Jalal, don't listen to this guy. Your heart is brighter than ever." And, some emotional spiel is going on between Urza and Jalal. And then Urza transforms into, or she re-equips into this new outfit. We have no idea what the friggin' heck this outfit is called, but it looks pretty cool. And she says, "I swear on the sacred blade that I am wielding, I will end all this chaos and I will end your life." So that is the end of the episode of Fairy Tail. Before I do the question of the day, I forgot to mention that Midnight explains why they're going after the Kate Shelter Guild. And long story short, the Kate Shelter Guild are descendants of the Nearvids that controlled Nirvana, and they are, watching over the burial ground of the sealed Nirvana, which is no longer sealed. So, Midnight is taking Nirvana to destroy the descendants of the Nearvids, who are the Kate Shelter Guild. And now, on to the question of the day. And today's question of the day is something a little simple. If you've seen a show called Impractical Jokers, you'll know what this question is. But the question is, do you wash it after? Let me know down in the comment section below if you wash it after. Me, I always wash it after. Now, and with all that said and done, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And as always, keep it cool.